First up, though, we are 2 days from England's semi-final against the Netherlands on Wednesday. Rob Dorsett and our team in Germany will be bringing us all the build-up. And I tell you what, let's speak to him live right now. You want to see the other Rob, not this Rob. There he is. Hooray for that. Otherwise, I would have been talking to myself for a while, which is not good. Rob, very good morning to you. England just one game away then from consecutive European Championship finals. In all your time covering England, could you have imagined that that would be the case?
No, is the truth. No, I couldn't. And Rob, I've had to recheck what I've been saying throughout the tournament and the build-up to this tournament. Remember, at the start of this tournament, I said England, this was the worst prepared England squad I'd ever known going into a major tournament. That was a big claim, but I still think it was right in terms of the fitness of Harry Kane and Jude Bellingham and Luke Shaw and Kieran Trippier and John Stones and Bukayo Saka. They all weren't match fit. So that's what I meant by that. And I've been looking at what I've been saying throughout the tournament as well, and it's been really quite negative. Every single England fan we've spoken to has been quite negative. In Dusseldorf, I must have spoken to dozens, scores of them in and around the town centre before that quarter-final with Switzerland, and they were all really down and critical of Gareth Southgate. And here we are, one game away from a second consecutive Euros final, which is extraordinary. And I think we do get a little bit complacent. I think that's why Gareth Southgate has been so frustrated and upset by some of the personal abuse that has come his way. I mean, there's a lot of quotes from him in the newspapers today that he gave to them after that win over Switzerland the other night, where he's talked about the personal abuse being tough. I think he's scratching his head and saying, well, what more do you want, England fans? Do you not remember the dark days? And yet, England haven't really played very well, have they? Let's be honest. It's guts and character that has got them to this stage in the tournament where they are now. And Gary Neville and people who know much more about football than me keep saying, if they carry on the way they are, England's luck is going to run out. I'm not so sure. We've seen teams in the past that have won European Championships with having not played the best football, but managed to find a way to win, and we've always criticised England for not being able to do that. Well, they've managed it out here. We've got to give them credit for that. I think we've got to give Southgate and Steve Holland, who were awarded their commemorative cap by Harry Kane for having 100 games in charge of England yesterday in camp. I think we've got to give those two some real credit for where they ripped up the plan, ripped up the copybook, everything they'd planned coming out to this tournament, and they tried so far. They ripped it up and started again with a new formation, new personnel, players in different positions, and they had 3 days to prepare that on the training field against Switzerland, and it was much, much better. It was great. I looked at the notes I'd written and what I provided to the Sky Sports app in terms of our live commentary throughout the game. It was really positive. England found space. They were passing the ball better. The press was better. They were creating chances. Saka was magnificent down the right-hand side, was cutting the ball back, beating his defender. And yet they didn't have a shot on target until Saka equalised in the 80th minute. So it's a really strange feeling where we are right now with this England team. Celebrating, worried. It's all a bit of a mishmash, isn't it? Let's be honest right now. But the fact of the matter is, I could be standing here a week from today with England as European champions. They only need to win 2 more games to do that. I say only. The Netherlands is a really, really stiff test, isn't it, on Wednesday night in Dortmund. Much tougher than anything they've faced so far.
Yeah, and maybe, because as you were talking, I always try to process, Rob, and yeah, it's maybe about the perceived strength of the opposition that England have faced so far, which could be the sticking point for a lot of England fans. Talk us through the selection dilemmas, though, for Gareth Southgate ahead of Wednesday's semi.
Just picking up on what you said there, Rob, though, by the way, look at 3 of the 4 teams that are in these semi-finals. I think 3 of the 4 have stumbled their way here and formed much less than they would have expected. Only Spain, really, have looked decent in this tournament. France and the Netherlands have had their struggles, just like England have had. But yeah, in terms of the selection dilemmas, look, I don't think Gareth Southgate will make many changes from what we saw in that quarter-final against Switzerland. I think it will be the same shape. I think he'll play with wing-backs again. I think the wingers will have to bide their time on the bench. I'm pretty confident Harry Kane will start up front, and the experiment with Jude Bellingham and Phil Foden, to a large extent, worked. They didn't make the same runs and get in each other's way. So I think it'll be the same structure, largely the same same players. Maybe the only change that Gareth Southgate will consider will be Mark Gay, and now that he's not suspended anymore, coming into the middle of that back three in place of Ezri Konsa. That would be tough on Konsa because that was his first start in a major tournament, and I thought he was outstanding, one of England's best players on the night. And yet he might be the one to make way for Gay coming back, because Gay had been England's best defender throughout the tournament up till this point. So I think Southgate will bring him back in. There's a debate on the left-hand side, of course. Is Luke Shaw fit enough to start for England? I think if he is, Southgate may be tempted to make that switch and drop Kieran Trippier. But my gut feeling is he'll probably stick with Trippier. He has done in big moments at the latter stages of tournaments throughout his reign as England manager. He loves the security, the experience, the nous, the leadership that Kieran Trippier brings. And I just wonder the medical impact that 45 minutes has had on Luke Shaw when he hasn't played any football before that for almost 5 months. That might be dictated by the medical reports that England and Gareth Southgate are getting behind the scenes, but my gut feeling is it will be Trippier ahead of Shaw still on that left-hand side. And I wonder whether one of the other changes he might make, Gareth Southgate, is to switch wings. We know that Cody Gakpo has been the Netherlands' best player so far on that left wing, cutting in from that left wing. I just wonder whether switching Kieran Trippier to right wing back to counter Cody Gakpo might work. But will Southgate think that takes too much away from Bukayo Saka, who is England's best player in that quarter-final against Switzerland, if he has to switch from the right-hand side, where he's been playing all season long for Arsenal, and go on the left? To sum all that up, I don't think there'll be many changes. Gay for Konsa may be the only one, but Southgate may be considering little switches and little tweaks elsewhere as well.
Yeah, there is absolutely no doubt, Rob, that the Dutch would rather Harry Kane wasn't on the team sheet. But what about up front, wasn't it? Ivan Toney's impact, has it given Southgate any food for thought there?
This is a really interesting one, and it's a head and heart debate thing for me, if I'm honest with you. Harry Kane has been England's greatest goal-getter. He has been England's most important player in the Gareth Southgate era. He is not single-handedly, but he's been the major reason why England have done so well in tournaments, why they're going to their third semi-final in the last 4 major tournaments. That's extraordinary. That's a sort of success we haven't seen in any generation of England fan, and Harry Kane has been a huge reason for that. He's got 2 goals in this tournament already. He's only 1 behind the chase for the Golden Boot right now. Cody Gakpo's got 3. Harry Kane will be aware of that. And you know that Harry Kane will have his eyes set on trying to win the Golden Boot in the final 2 games as he hopes it anyway. And yet, it felt different in Dusseldorf in that quarter-final on Saturday night. When Harry Kane was substituted, albeit after a nasty clash off the pitch and he cramped up a little bit, I think. When he was substituted, I'm sure every England fan thought, hang on, he's our best penalty taker and he's going off and this is penalties looming. And what happened? Harry Kane watched from the sidelines as England's other players, the new generation, got up fearlessly and scored 5 perfect penalties. And so that felt different to me. And also, bear in mind that when Ivan Toney has come on the pitch for England, I think he's held the ball up better. I think he's in a better state physically than Harry Kane right now. He's able to make those runs. He's able to take the pressure off England when they've cleared the ball up and needed to release some of the pressure. He's won free kicks on halfway. He's collected the ball in his chest and laid it off to fullbacks. And he scored that no-eyes penalty extraordinarily in the shootout as well. So it feels like there's a changing of the guard there. Listen, I'm sure Harry Kane will start in Dortmund on Wednesday, no doubt about it, I'm sure. Whether he finishes the game, whether he's in the 11 that are on the pitch at the end, well, that remains to be seen, I think, to a large extent.